probably good. That is the most awkward driving position ever.
All right, guys, so it's actually the following day from when you just last saw. I'm on the old shop truck, heading over to Hoopies' shop to do some more work on the custom line. And when you last saw, we were discussing the rear wheel wells. I think we've come up with a plan. It's originally what I didn't want to do. It was my least favorite, but it's radiusing the rear wheel wells. But we got to looking at some pictures of cars online last night with radius wheel wells, and got to thinking about it. This is just a vehicle that we're going to flip and sell, so we don't want to dump a ton of time into it. If it was my own personal vehicle to keep, I would probably source out another rear end, or do the extra body work to flare the fender wells. But I think since this is going to be something that we're just flipping, we're going to radius those wheel wells. Kind of not really go for a gasser look, because it's too modern of a suspension in the front to go gasser. Kind of that sort of look. I'll post some pictures up of what they do look like. They do look good done this way. They do look good done with the radius wheel well. And I actually found a couple pictures of like 49 Fords done in like a 50s custom style with radius wheel wells in the back too. So it doesn't look too bad, as you can see in some of the pictures. So I think that's our plan now. I'm gonna meet up with Hoopie here in just a minute when I get to the shop, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I'm over here at the shop now. We got the body picked back up, and let me run through some of the things that we're gonna get accomplished and figure out right now. Okay, so the first order of business, we're gonna get some more of this material trimmed out. We were gonna try and keep the Vic column and all that, but we've realized that it's just not feasible with the way that this car, the Crown Vic, is dimensioned versus the dimensions of the custom line. So we're going to drop the Vic column out, this column support out, set those to the side. We'll leave them all connected as far as wiring and shifter go, just so we can still move the car. And we're going to try and put the custom line column back in it and just retrofit it to the Vic steering rack. I think it's just gonna make our life easier. We need to trim this little bit of a flange up here for better clearance. We're pulling the dash out. Hoopie's pulling the dash out right now of the custom line. We're just getting it out of the way for now to try and get the body set down. We're running into just too many different problems at one time, so we're just clearing as much space as we can to get the main priority of this body set down. We need to trim a little bit more in the back corners here. And like I mentioned, we're most likely going to radius these wheel wells, as you saw in some of those pictures that I put into the video of other cars. They do look good with the radius wheel well, as long as you add in a little bit of like a lip to make it look factory. We are also going to trim these frame horns off because they were hitting right here. So if we cut them here, that'll let the body set down just a little bit more. We're going to drop the gas tank down a little bit. It's only ratchet strapped in plates right now. I'm going to drop that down a little bit. So hopefully with all these little adjustments and clearancing of things, we can get this body set to where it needs to be. Then we can go back and start tackling the issues that were coming into play with the dash, the steering column, those sort of things. We also need to drag the front clip in here and get the wheel wells pulled out of it and test fit it on the front to make sure that this wheel looks good in the opening. So it's kind of a lot of stuff to do, but we got a couple hours today to work on this thing. We're going to try and knock it out. Okay, so we spent a little bit more time and we got the column pulled out. And we actually, oh, let me climb in here. We stripped everything off of the column. So we've got the turn signal stalk here. And then this is your ignition switch essentially. The shifter cable is laying down here. And we were concerned about PATS, the passive anti-theft system on this, but because this is a cop car, I don't believe it actually has it. And so, Joe, if you want to demonstrate. So we have a working ignition switch, I guess you would call it. So now we don't have to worry about using the Crown Vic column at all. We can just either keep like almost a push button style start and then mount that ignition, or not ignition, gee whiz, turn signal stalk somehow, because it would be nice to retain all the functions of that. But that was a surprising little thing that we came across. So I think we're to the point now we got everything trimmed up that we wanted to get trimmed up. I trimmed the corners back there, so drop the gas tank down some. We're to the point where we can get this body drop back down to what might be its final kind of resting area. So let's do that. All right, so we got the Vic up in the air and the body is sitting on the Vic frame, and this is actually turning out really well. So we're resting on top of the heater box there. We're gonna trim that little flange. I should have trimmed that off beforehand. And then on this other side, we are just resting on top of the brake booster. So we'll bring the body up like 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch just so it's not resting on there. But I think this is where the body's gonna sit. All we have to do here is literally just push this in and we can weld down this whole side. Same with the other side. This is fitting amazingly well. If you look, the bottom of the door is right here. This is the floor of the Vic. They're the same level right now. Same thing with this side. Just push that in, weld along there. The floor, I don't know if you can see it from under here. You really can't see from under here. The floor though is lining up perfect in the back. We just need a small filler panel. The frame and shocks are kind of going into the wheel well area, wheel tub area. And then this is what's amazing is, so this is a stock 52 body mount. Let me see, do I have a, yeah, I do. If we make a little bracket off the side of the frame, we can utilize one of the stock body mounts on the Vic frame. The exhaust, if we just shorten it up a little bit, and then, oh, get this out of the way. Oh, come on. Oh, let me show you on this side. We can tuck the exhaust up in between the body and the frame. You know, just bring our turn down back to like this area. Then we're gonna put the Vic fuel door in the side of the car. And like I talked about earlier, we're probably just gonna end up radiusing these wheel wells with a little lip in them. But this thing's turned out really well. This is kind of cool to see. My wheel wells! So we got these rear quarters trimmed, just enough right now to get the car rolling. We will have to radius them more. You know, I didn't like the idea at first, but I don't think it looks half bad, especially if we get some sort of a lip going around that, around the radius. And I actually started playing with something on this side. I just quickly hacked off the wheel well or wheel arch out of the Crown Vic. It's actually the other side, it's backwards, but thinking something along the lines of this. We got to raise it up higher because it's clearly rubbing, but that's kind of what we're toying with right now. You ready? Are you saying you wanted me to drive out? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was looking for something that would serve you as a little steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
I think you could probably turn that with your hand, but I was looking for something that might...
Just give me a screwdriver. I'll stick it in that hole.
That'll work. That's my steering wheel.
How's the neutral?
Yeah, it's kind of doing that thing it was doing that one day. You gotta cut the gas off. Yeah, me too. That wheel there. So we're gonna have to hop
straight back at this point.
Yeah, straight back. One more. Alright, grab them welding gloves right there. You're gonna want those. I want these.
That is the most awkward driving position ever.
Alright, quick update. We got the car turned around back in the garage here. Hoopie and Derek are taking the inner fender wells out of the front clip so we can test fit that onto the front of the car.
Okay, so we definitely have to get the lower valve off. Let's just rip that off real quick. I am. And not only am I, go ahead and do that. Here, let's take the battery out real quick.
Alright, we just got the front.
Oops, turd fart.
Some people's kids. Alright, we just got the front clip set on here. Had to pull that lower valance off. I think if we move the radiator back a couple inches, which is pretty easy on these cars, we'll be sitting pretty good. The wheel actually fits the wheel well rather well. There's room, and if we roll that, I think we'll be good as far as steering, because I think where we're sitting ride height is probably where we're going to end up. But it is definitely coming together. Well guys, that's wrapping this episode. We got a ton of work done on the Customline. We got the body set down. It's looking really good. I am super surprised at how this thing's lining up. It's just, things seem to be falling into place. It was fighting us there for a bit. There's still a few areas that are fighting us, but things are really starting to fall in place. I'm super happy with it, both Hoopie and myself. I'm gonna throw a couple bonus pictures in here. Hoopie was able to get the hood set on the car. He pulled it outside. It's looking really good. I'm, again, super happy with it. Guys, stay tuned because we're going to continue working on the Customline. I'm going to also continue working on the Hawk. It's been a little bit crazy lately with all this Corona stuff going on, but it is what it is. If the weather breaks and gets nice, it's currently raining right now, but if the weather gets nice, I may even try and get the Falcon pulled out and get it washed up, get it cleaned out on the inside, give you guys another little update video on that. Really haven't touched it at all. I'm going to try and get it running though. I need to source a few parts, carburetor, starter, distributor. I have a line on some parts, I just gotta go get them. Been super busy, so you might see a video coming on that here in the future. And also, as I mentioned in the last video, it's another project coming down the road later in the year, but that one's a bit of a secret. May not be exactly what you guys think, but stay tuned because I will certainly fill you in when I can. So as always guys, I thank you for watching. Drop any questions or comments you have down below. I'll be sure to answer them. Hoopie's Hot Rods is linked in the description below. So guys, thanks again. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always guys, I appreciate it. Have a great day.